Hey everybody, Deplorable Bobby here. Tonight we're going to talk about New York's crime boss, Frankie Boy Cali, who was gunned down outside of his home in Staten Island Wednesday night. The 53-year-old crime boss of New York's Gambino family was gunned down outside his home in Staten Island on Wednesday night. Frankie Boy was struck several times by gunfire as he tried to hide under his SUV. The shooter sped off and no arrests have been made by the police at this time. The mob boss exited his home after someone backed into his Cadillac SUV, causing damage. Most likely damaging the SUV was the means to getting Cali out of his house. Surveillance cameras show the two men talking about a minute, and then at least 12 shots were fired from a 9mm handgun, hitting Cali several times and killing him. Unlike other crime bosses in New York and around the country, Cali kept a low profile, and most people thought he was a good guy. Well, that's to be questioned. He was a member of the mafia. He was the leader of a mafia family. Well, we know that Cali was arrested at least once back in 2008 on extortion conspiracy and served 16 months in jail. No, Cali's wife is a member of a Sicilian mafia family. So he's got close ties to the Sicilian mafia as well. There are 5 prominent crime families in New York, and it makes up the La Cosa Nostra alliance of criminal families. According to the FBI, these families are involved in racketeering, drugs, loan sharking, corruption, extortion, prostitution, and murder. Police say Cali received a call after someone backed into his SUV to lure him outside. Let me be clear about one thing. No made member of the New York Mafia, like Cali was, can be taken out without permission from the upper ranks of a crime family. Cali did something that caused another family to take him out. It could be an inside job, but most likely it was just a rival family. So, I guess what goes around comes around. Frankie Boy Cali is dead at the age of 53. And now we're going to have a new crime boss. I guess we'll see how many more people die before they pick one. Now I'm going to talk about our children for just a minute. And I want to know, why do you look the other way when it comes to child sex trafficking? 300,000 children are victims of child trafficking in the USA every year for prostitution. These numbers are true and correct, and society looks the other way. And you? What do you do? What do I do? Well, I don't look the other way, and I hope you don't either. There's enough of that going on. You know, if you do look the other way, then I say shame on you. You need to look at your priorities again. But I know that my subscribers love our children. I hope all our viewers do. You know, child trafficking isn't something we want to recognize. We don't want to acknowledge it. And we don't even want to fight against it as a people. You know, we'd rather just look the other way. It makes people feel uncomfortable and it's depressing. So just don't think about it. That's what a lot of people do. But yet, child trafficking is still here. It's everywhere. It's in small towns. It's in your churches. It's in your schools. And it's just like it is in the big cities. It's all over our neighborhoods, our cities, our states, and our nation, people. Thanks to the internet, predators have easy access to our children now. Approximately 1 out of every 7 children that get on the internet is contacted by one of these predators. These children are being pursued and singled out in an attempt to lure these children into some type of child sex trafficking. A study by the Urban Institute in Atlanta shows some child sex traffickers make up to $32,000 a week. Selling children for sex is very lucrative, evidently. Child sex traffickers in Atlanta alone make an estimated $290 million a year off of these little boys and girls. The main contributing factor for a child entering into a child sex trafficking, they usually have a prior history of some kind of sexual abuse. From their family, from their family's friends. Somewhere along the line, most of these children have been sexually abused. So a lot of the time, family and friends are sexually abusing children, so it really isn't a very big jump into the fire from the frying pan for these kids. They can be lured and induced and wind up involved in this sick world of child trafficking before they realize what they've actually gotten themselves into. People, we have to be aware. We have to see what our kids are doing on the internet. We have to see who they're talking to. We need to check their phones every now and then to see who their contacts are. There's no reason for a little girl to be talking to a grown man on the phone. Or for that matter, there's no need for a little girl to be talking to an older teenager on the phone, for that matter. People, pedophilia and child trafficking starts at home. And that's where it stops. It stops at home. People, I want you to think about our children. I want you to think about this problem of child sex trafficking. And instead of looking the other way, let's see what we can do to help these kids. What can we do to make other people aware that this is a main problem in America right now? Our kids. Did you hear that number? 1 out of 7. 300,000 kids a year are sex trafficked. We got to do something, people. Let's pray for our children. Just remember, this is Deplorable Bobby. This is the way I see it. I wished I could see it a different way, people. Pray for our kids. Pray for each other. We'll get through this. Y'all have a good night.